Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Nazir Chaf. We are holding a New Testament base right after the Mishnah, 3 lines from the bottom. But perhaps, let's just go back to the beginning of the Mishnah briefly, which will give us a window into the next sugya. Okay, let's start from the Mishnah. Misha Nazar Naziris Harbe. This fellow undertook an extra long Nazirus, a year, a long Nazirus. Problem is that he did it outside Eretz Yisrael. We know that the Chachamim were sakin that any area outside Eretz Yisrael is considered tamei due to the kvarim that are strewn about, by people who are not careful, goyim who are not careful with tumah. In any case, we know there is a tumas eretz ha'amim. Anything outside Eretz Yisrael has a tumah midrabanan, and therefore, when it comes to Nazirus, you're really meant to observe your Nazirus in Eretz Yisrael, which ensures proper protection from tumah. This fellow did it outside Eretz Yisrael. He completed his Nazirus, and then came to Eretz Yisrael to bring his karbanis, which you're meant to do in person. What happens now? You have to redo a symbolic, standard length Nazirus of 30 days. We don't require a full redo, but you have to redo at least a 30-day Nazirus. It's a knas midrabanan, a penalty, because he should have done his Nazirus in a place which was free of tumah in Eretz Yisrael. So 30 days has to be redone. Ubesil Imrim, you have to restart from the scratch. Nazir betchila. If it was a year-long Nazirus, outside Eretz Yisrael, it doesn't count. You have to redo the entire thing. In fact, there was a story, Masa b'Hilni Amalka, the Queen Hilni, some say she was a Giyeris, and she was very sincere. Shahalach b'nodla mulchama, when her son Munbas HaMelech went out to war, va'amra, she declared as follows. Im yavai b'ni min mulchama, she pledged, if my son returns back from the war, b'shalayim, in peace, Ehe Nazira Sheva Shanim, if he comes back safely, I will be a Nazira for 7 straight years. In fact, Hashem provided for her wishes. Uba b'naman Muhammad, her son returns safely, and she fulfilled her commitment. Voice Nazira Sheva Shanim, she kept 7 years Naziras. Problem is, it was outside Eretz Yisrael. Ubesoif Sheva Shanim, after the 7 years, also La'aros, she came up to Eretz Yisrael to take care of her karbanis. When the Chachamim got wind of what happened, they told her, you have to redo it. Beis Hillel required a full redo, another 7 years. And what happened? At the end of those 7 years, she became Tamei. Which requires a full redo again, which gives her a total of 21 years in a state of Nazirus. That's the Tanakama's version. Rabbi Yehuda had a different version of this story. Rabbi Yehuda, it wasn't 21 years, rather, it was just 14 years. Okay, the Gemara now will focus on the first part of the Mishnah and then elaborate on the last, final part of the Mishnah. So what do we have in the beginning? You come to Eretz Yisrael, Beis Shammai say, 30 days is all you need to do. Beis Hillel say a full redo of the full length Nazirus. What's the machlekes dependent upon? What's the svaras hamachlekes? Katani Reisha, we begin the Mishnah, Beis Shammai Imrim, Nazir Shleshim Yaim, he only needs to do a standard 30-day Nazirus. Besil Imrim, Nazir Betchila, you have to redo the entire duration of the Nazirus. Le'im Balka Mifleki, perhaps the machlekes is based on the following question. How severely Tamei did the Chachamim consider the Eretz Ha'amim? The Beis Shammai Savri Eretz Ha'amim Mishum Gusha Gazru Aleh, Ubesil Imrim Savri Mishum Avira Gazru Aleh. Gusha means the actual earth was considered Tamei, and Avira means the airspace as well. Now Tosfos switches the girsa. He learns like this: Beis Shammai Savri Eretz Ha'amim Mishum Avira. The Chachamim was so machmer on Eretz Ha'amim, they said, not only Is the actual land considered tamei? So if you touch it or you hover above it, tumas maga or tumas oil is included in that takana. Even the aver, the airspace. Suppose he flies through, in some enclosed capsule, and he is exposed to the, a roofless capsule, is exposed to the air of Eretz Amim. He contacts tuma. It is such a severe tuma, and therefore, it's totally, uncomparable to a regular tuma. Even a tumas mace, a kaver, is mitami at most by touching, by tumas oil hovering above it. But airspace on its own, without oil, without actually hovering above the kever, if there's something between you and the kever, just tasting the airspace does not expose you to tuma. Eretz Amim is a notch higher, and therefore it's not going to be mixed up with a tumas kever. It's totally on its own track, and therefore there's no reason at all to require this fellow to redo the entire Nazirus, which was actually observed outside in Chutz La'aretz. Nobody's going to mix it up with a tumas mace, and therefore it is sufficient for us to tack on a 30-day Nazirus as a knas for doing it outside Eretz Yisrael. Redo at least a standard, a minimal length 30-day Nazirus, and that's enough. Ubesil Savri, according to Tesis Gersa, they still hold Mishum Gusha Gazar Alea. We don't treat Chutz La'aretz more severely than a cemetery. The earth, the glob, the karka is metame. You touch it, you hover above it, to masmaga, to mas oil. That's about it. And therefore, it's reminiscently similar to a regular base hakvaras, to mas mace. People might mix things up. And therefore, when you do Nazirus out there, we treat it as though it was done in a makam tumah, in a base hakvaras. Redo the entire thing. So according to Beis Hillel, Nazir betchila. Perhaps that's the machlekes. It's totally in this question of how to treat Chutz La'aretz. Says the Gemara, no, perhaps not. Loi, the kuli alma, according to Tesis Gersa, the kuli alma mishum avira and gazru alel. All agree that in fact the Chachamim applied a very severe level of tumah to Chutz La'aretz. Even the actual air has tumah. In which case, it's totally uncomparable to your standard tumah. In which case, everybody understands this is a new rabbinic tumah, a new concept introduced by the Rabbanan. It's not going to be mixed up with the Beis HaKvaros. And if so, it would be sufficient for us just to apply, standard knas, just penalize him in minimal fashion, just redo 30 days, no more than that. And in fact, that is Shitas Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai Savri, B'stam Nazirus Kanisna. We require him to just redo 30 days, which is your Stam Shir Nazirus. It's a din d'Rabbanan to redo that type of Nazirus. Or Basil Savri, no. Kika Nisna, once we're going at it, once we're applying a Knas Betchilas Nazirus, we require a full redo of the entire Nazirus, and Mfarshim explained based on a Gersa and Tesis. Not everybody understands, not everybody knows to discern between Tumas Eretz Amim and a Beis HaKvaros. Tumah, it's all the same thing, and once they see this fellow was doing his Nazirus out in Chutz La'aretz, which is known to be a Makam Tamei, and he comes into Eretz Yisrael, they'll assume that he was really Tamei, and therefore we compel him to redo the entire thing. So we've now explained, we have now understood the machlekes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Again, so a fellow who did Nazirus outside Eretz Yisrael, Beis Shammai say just redo 30 days, no more than that. Beis Hillel say redo the entire thing. We had the story of Hilni Amalka with her son. According to the Tanakama's version of events, she observed a total of 21 years because her commitment was 7. When she arrived in Eretz Yisrael, Beis Hillel, who hold a full redo is required, compelled her to redo the full 7, at the end of which she became Tamei. There goes another 7. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. It was just a total of 14. Why? How do we get to 14? We have two ways to understand Rabbi Yehuda. I'm going to focus on Rabbi Yehuda, who says she was in a zero for 14 years. How do we get 14 years? Iboilu, the Bnei Yeshiva wanted to know the background, the basis of Rabbi Yehuda's version of the story. One option is Bishanitmes, Valiba de Beis Shammai. We're going with Beis Shammai. She had 7 years behind her. Problem is, they were done in Chutz La'aretz. Well, according to Beis Shammai, you come to Eretz Yisrael, add another 30, and you're done. Problem is, she became tummy. During those 30 days, which are considered an extension of her Nazirus, that required a full redo of 7 more years. So it gives her a total of 7 plus 7 plus 30 days, which is not really, mentioned in the Mishnah. Mishnah mentions 14 years. Really, it's 14 years plus 30 days. That's one option. Or perhaps what happened was she never got tummy. How do we get to 14 years? I'll leave the Beis Hillel. This is Beis Hillel speaking. Rabbi Yehuda followed Beis Hillel's shita. True, she kept 7 years outside, but now when she came back to Eretz Yisrael, it required a full redo. Another 7 years for a total of 14. So which way was it? Tashma, we're going to have a raya from the Brisa, which says, also la'aretz, v'hiru Beis Hillel, shetei nazira, oid sheva shana macheris. Sorry, this is the Mishnah actually. So according to Tanakama, she came to Eretz Yisrael. They required another 7 years for a total of 21. Rabbi Yehuda says no, it was just 14. Question is, if we're going to assume that what happened was, we're going with Beis Shammai, who only required an additional 30 days, but she became Tamei, and that canceled the entire 7-year thing, and she has to redo the 7 years. So really, she should have 7 years plus 30 days plus a new 7. That's 7 plus 30 days. That's not just 14 years. That's more than 14 years. If so, why does Rabbi Yehuda say, she only kept 14 years. It's more than 14. What happened to the 30 days? That's a raya. That the second option is the correct option. We're going with Beis Hillel. She kept 7 outside. She came to Eretz Yisrael. She had to keep another 7 for a total of 14. In fact, we can prove this. This is the right shot from the following price. Rabbi Yehuda quotes Rabbi Lezer, who says, the Yamakra, Zoyis Toyos HaNazir, B'yoyim Elois, HaToyra Amra, Ki Nitma B'yoyim Elois, Tein Lo Teras Nazir. This is a halacha we had back in the beginning of the Masechta. Rabbi Lezer's shita. True. Typically, a Nazir who becomes Tamei cancels the entire Nazirus which he had done. But if the Tumah occurs on the very last day of his Nazirus, once he's done counting, it doesn't have such severe repercussions. So even if it's the last of an 100-day Nazir, extra long Nazirus, but once it's the last day, we give you a discount. You only have to redo 30 days Teiras Nazir. So in this case, where she was already at the tail end of her 7 years, in fact she was done her 7 years, but she was just completing, the extra 30 days because of the Knas Rabbanan. That's certainly, considered B'yoy Malois. Perhaps it's even after Malois. A tumah which occurs then would never trigger a full redo of the entire 7 years. So Rabbi Yehuda, who follows Rabbi Lezer's shita, that a tumah which occurs so late in the game does not require a full redo, would never propose that tumah which occurs at this late stage. At what late stage? During that 30-day period which followed her 7 years. That wouldn't require a full redo of another 7 years. So apparently that pshat wouldn't work. That can't be the reason for his 14 years. Rather, it's Beis Hillel speaking without tumah. Beis Hillel required a full redo in Eretz Yisrael, so it's 7 plus 7, a total of 14. So in summation, Nazirus should be done in Eretz Yisrael. What if not? It was done outside and he came into Eretz Yisrael. Beis Hillel say, full redo. Eretz Ha'amim has tumah. People might think that he became Tmei Meis. You have to redo the entire thing. Beis Shammai say, it's enough to give him a standard Nazirus of 30 days. Everybody understands. Eretz Chutz La'aretz is an entirely different parsha. It's a new concept of tumah. It's not really tumas meis. Just redo 30. It's a knas for doing your Nazirus outside. Hilni Amalka had a story which he was makabel in Nazir 7 years, provided his son comes back safely from war, which he did. She kept 7 years outside Eretz Yisrael. Then she came to Eretz Yisrael. Tanakama's version of the story was that she had to redo. 7 plus 7, she became tummy, which required another 7 at the end, for a total of 21. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it was just a total of 14. The Gemara concludes that we're going according to Beis Hillel, except that there was no tumah involved, so it was just 7 outside and 7 in Eretz Yisrael for a total of 14. Says the Mishnah. A fellow is confronted by 2 pairs of Edom. One pair comprised of Reuven and Shimon, another pair comprised of Levi and Yehuda. And they both have what to say. First pair are claiming, look, you have undertaken to observe 2 Naziriyos of 30 days each. You don't remember that day you were talking, you were makabel, and he has no recollection. Problem is, the second pair of Edom are claiming that he undertook 5 Nazir's commitments. What do we do now? And he has no idea. He's not confirming, he's not denying. It's split up, meaning it's a total collision, a total contradiction. He doesn't keep anything. What do you mean? Let him at least keep 2. Within the number 5, you have the number 2. So even the second pair of Edom who are claiming 5, they're acknowledging 2. You can't get to 5 before you get to 2. At least let him keep 2. So our Mishnah's version of the machlekes entails 2 pairs of Edom, one claiming 2 Nazirs, one claiming 5. Bisham say batal. Basil say keep at least 2. Masnissen, our Tana's version of the machlekes, the loiki haitana, is a different version of Rabbi Shmuel's presentation. The Sanya, Rabbi Shmuel, B'nai, Shel Rabbi Yechon Breka Omer, Lo nechelku Beisham Beisil. There was never a machlekes between Beisham Beisil in this case of our Mishnah. Al Shteikit Edom, when we have 2 pairs of Edom with differing accounts. Achas Omer Shtayim, one claiming 2, Achas Omer Chamesh, the other one claiming 5. There's no question. What should he do? At least 2. Sheyesh B'chlal Chamesh Shtayim. Within 5 you have 2. It's like the Gemara speaks about B'chlal Mosai Mana. Do you owe him 200? Do you owe him 100? Well, at least give him 100. Here as well, at least let him keep 2 Naziriyos. There's no shaila. Alma nechalku. When do we have a machlekes? When we have 1 pair of Edom, Reuven and Shimon, split between themselves. Alkas achas, Reuven and Shimon who are coming together. Achad Eimer Shtayim, Reuven is claiming 2. Ve'achad Eimer Chamish, Shimon is claiming 5. Now we have trouble. We have a contradiction within the same group. Shebei Shayim Eimer Nechal Gaidusan. Here Beis Shammai say you can't listen to any of them. It's internal contradiction. It never takes off. Beis hold that even in this case, you can hear what you want to hear. Yesh b'chal chamesh shtayim. They're both in agreement that he owes 2. Let him at least keep that. Amar Rav hakol moedim b'moina. Everybody agrees. When the Edom are enumerating, Tosfos explains, Rav is referring to Rabbi Shmuel's version of the machlekes, which means we have 1 pair of Edom, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven saying 2, Shimon saying 5. Beis Hillel say, at least keep 2. Says Rav, provided they didn't enumerate. If they enumerated, then it's batal. What does that mean? Amal Rav Chamal Rav Chisda. What do you mean? Maika Amar. What do you mean b'mayna? What did Rav mean when he said b'mayna? Rav meant that in the case where Reuven says he committed to 2 and not 5. Shimon disagrees. He says 5 and not 2. So they're actually negating each other's account. Right? Rather than coming and saying 2 and 5, he's elaborating. 2 and not 5. And he says, no, 5 and not 2. In that case, we say, even Beis Hillel drops the whole thing. Well, it's obvious. Of course, they're in total disagreement. Ella, rather, when Rav presented his chiddush, it was in the following case. Rav's coming to say like this. Even Beis Hillel would agree. When it's 1 pair, And Reuven says, you know what? I know this fellow was Mekabel 1, 2. Right? For a total of 2. And the other fellow, Shimon, says, no, it was actually 3, 4, and 5. Sholish, Arba, Chamish. So they didn't just make a general reference to 2 and to 5. They elaborate. They itemized it. 1, 2, he says. He says 3, 4, 5. In that case, says Rav, even Beis Hillel agree, we have a contradiction. Because when he says 1, 2, it's as though he says not more than that. And when he says 3, 4, 5, it's as though he says not 1 and 2. That's a contradiction which even Beis Hillel would agree with. Says the Gemara, why is that a contradiction? Halamali, why would why would you expect the fellow who says 3, 4, and 5 to actually spell out 1 and 2? Taisus takes out the word Rav. Look, he went further than 2. He said 3, 4, and 5. Chamirta, he went more. Kiltalei Amar. Isn't that alluding to 1 and 2 as well? Once you say 3, 4, 5, obviously it includes 1 and 2. So why is that an outright contradiction? And why would we still agree? In fact, says the Gemara, you're right. Amri b'marava, ein akhasha b'mayna. So we're reading more like this. Hashte yishleim chamirta, Amar. If he said the more, the greater number, kiltale Amar. He didn't say the lesser number. Of course he did. Who says he was coming to negate that? Amri b'marava, so in Eretz Yisrael. In fact, they conclude differently than Rav. Ein hakhasha b'mayna. Even when there's mayna, when there's numbers and enumerations and itemizations, we don't treat it as an outright contradiction. Even in this case, Beis Hillel would agree. At least observe 2 Nazirs. Hadran lach misha amar. So in summation, this fellow is presented by conflicting accounts of what he himself has said. So according to our Mishnah's version, one pair of Eidim are saying 2, the other one saying 5. Beis Shammai say, leave it alone. Beis Hillel say, keep 2. According to Bishmol Bray, Shabrechem Breker's version, when we have 2 pairs of Eidim contradicting, everybody agrees, at least go with the lesser amount. The question is, when we have 1 pair of Eidim in conflict with each other, you don't think to work with, you don't even have 1 pair of Eidim speaking the same language. So here's the machlekes. Beis Shammai say it's batal. Beis Hillel say at least keep 2. Rav had a shita that by Moina it's different, and the Gemara concluded otherwise. Hadran Allah Misha Amar. Says the Mishnah, Misha Amar Hareini Nazir. Reuven gets up and says, I'm a Nazir. He's accepting Naziris. V'shama chaver, Shimon listening in, gets inspired, v'amar, and he follows through with the word va'ani. Me too. Levi overhears this, and he says, va'ani, kulam nazirim. Everybody is now a Nazir. Provided it was teich kedei dibur. Teich kedei dibur means a duration which it takes for a Talmud to greet his Rebbe, Shalom Aleichem Rebbe, 2-3 seconds. It's 1 unit in time. As long as they followed through so close to each other, they were matfis in each other, they latched onto each other, everybody's a Nazir. So again, Misha Amar, Hareini Nazir, V'shama Chaver, V'ama V'ani. And then another fellow said V'ani, Kulam Nazir. Now, since they're all latching on, it's like a domino effect. Hutar Arishan, if the first fellow becomes mutar by dismantling his Naziris, by doing Hataras and Daran, Hutar Kulam, everybody behind him gets knocked off as well. Hutar Achram, but the last one on the list, the latecomer, is matter himself. He only affects himself. Ha'achram mutar, he's mutar, but everybody that preceded him is not dependent upon him. V'kulam asurim. Amar Hareini Nazir, a fellow declares, I'm a Nazir. V'shama chaver v'amar, and the other fellow says, well, pikepiv, I'm treating my mouth like his mouth. I'm adhering to his commitment. I don't want to treat my hair like his hair. That's another form of hatafasa, and in fact, Harez a Nazir, that makes him a Nazir as well. What about in a couple? Hareini Nazir, a man, a husband says, I'm a Nazir, v'shama ishtay v'amra vani. His wife overhears, and she likewise says v'ani, I'm also committing. we know that typically a husband can do afaras and darim. Meiferesh shalah. In fact, he can go ahead and undo her nazirus, v'shaloi kayim, and leave his intact, because his nazirus is not dependent upon hers. Rather, hers was dependent upon his, so hers can fall by the wayside, and his is still intact. What about the other way around? Haredi Nazira, she is the first to offer Nazirus. V'shama vala v'amar rani, her husband overhears and he says, me too. That's tantamount to a confirmation. Eino yachal offer, because he was mekayim her neder by saying vani. I like it so much, I want to emulate it. That's a kiyum. He can't anymore go back and undo that. I can be matir his neder, but not hers. Haredi Nazir. A husband says, I'm a Nazir. Vat, and he offers his wife the same. You too? Question mark. Vat? V'amra amen. She says, sure, certainly. So it's not his doing. He just suggested it to her, and she accepted. She was Mekayim. She was Noider. So now it's a standard neder, which a husband can dismantle. Meiferesh shalah. He can undo hers, v'shaloi kayim, and still leave his intact. What about Haredi Nazira? She's the one who started by offering Naziros, and turned to him afterwards, Va'aton, you too? And he says, sure, V'amar amen. In this case, it's like he confirmed and certified her Nazirus. By latching onto her Nazirus, he confirmed her commitment, and therefore it's too late. Eino yachal offer, he can no longer undo her Nazirus. So in the Mishnah we had a fellow who says, Areni Nazir, another fellow hears, Vani, third fellow, Vani, fourth fellow, Vani, all the way to Yehuda. Reuven was the instigator, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda followed through. They're all Nazir. Yasav Reish Lakish. Kameid Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. Reish Lakish was sitting in front of Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. V'yasav Kamar, and presented the following halach. Who? When do we say that you can latch on to your friend's commitment? Sheitfisu kulan b'tech kedei dibur. If they all came just in time. So, tech kedei dibur, as we said, is the shear of saying Shalom Alecha Rebbe, 2-3 seconds. So Reuven accepted Nazirus. And within 2-3 seconds, we have Levi, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda following through and committing themselves as well. Vani, Vani, Vani. They crammed it in within the shear of Teich Dibur. That works. But past that shear, that's too late to latch on. What's this shear? Kadesh Elas Shalom, as long as it takes for a fellow to greet. Who? V'kama Kadesh Elas Shalom. What does that mean? As long as it takes a Talmud to turn to his Rebbe and say, Shalom Alecha Rebbe, some say Shalom Alecha Rebbe Umayri. That's the shear of Teich Dibur. It's considered, a unit in time. There's a Shitas Aran and back in the Durham. We want to give a Talmud a chance to greet his Rebbe in the middle of a transaction, so we give him that leeway until we close the deal. So Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, upon hearing Reish Lakish's a very short time frame, says, 1 second, no more, meaning you're giving him such a small, short amount of time. You haven't provided enough time for a Talmud. Suppose a Talmud hears Reuven saying, I'm a Nazir, and he wants to latch on, but his Rebbe walks by at that moment. He has to greet him, give him a chance to greet him, and then turn around and say Vani. So give him another split second. Shalom Alecha Rebbe plus a millisecond to add his 2 cents to the 4 to say Vani. So the way Taisus explains the Gemara, Reish Lakish held, it needs to be done within Kedei Dibur. Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya says, immediately after is fine. Tani Nami Hachu, we have a Brisa which supports Reish Lakish. It has to be within this year. Misha Amareni Nazir. Reuven got up and says, I'm a Nazir. V'shama Chaveroi V'shah Kedei Dibur. And Shimon, upon hearing this, hesitated for a moment. Waited the shear of Kedei Dibur. And then he said, V'amar Vani, that's too late. Who Asr, Reuven is Asr, meaning he's a Nazir, but Shimon, that's too late. V'chaveroi Mutter. V'kama Kedei Dibur, Kadesh Elas, Shalom Talmud L'Rav. This will be a raya to Reish Lakish. Okay, so what do we learn today? Nazirus is meant to be done in Eretz Yisrael to avoid Tumas Eretz Amim. If it's done outside, part of it has to be redone inside, according to Beis Shammai. The entire thing, according to Beis Hillel, merely 30 days. We discussed 2 levels of Tumah, possibly applied to Eretz Amim, Gusha, and Avira. We had 2 versions of the story of Hilni Amalka. Was it a 21-year deal or just 14 years? We had the contradictory Eidos and how to deal with that. We had the sugi of hatfasa terkede dibur, and the husband and wife interaction. If it's just latching on, then you could be made for her neder, but if you're actually confirming her neder, then that's a commitment, that's a confirmation. Eino yachal lahafer. All the best to you, a good gebench to your, and lots of atzlacha.